Okay, so we started with this framework. Let me quickly give you a recap. I'll repeat it on daily basis so that it gets into your mind and stick there. Uh, because this is one which is you have to present in your interviews. If someone asks you what kind of framework you have in your project, this is what you have to print there, okay, and explain there. So I'll start with uh, this diagram itself. So as you can see, we called it modular frameworks because we have I'm sorry, we call it modular framework because we have divided the complete framework into multiple modules. We have automation layer as a separate one, application layer as a separate one, test cases as separate one, test suite files are separate. Then we have utilities at each level. Then we have separated out sections where which generate reports, to get logs, to take screenshot, and a utility is written to do data-driven testing. Okay, so if you see here, if you see this framework carefully, there are three sections in it. The first section, which is in green, this section is basically the input part. Okay, from here we are taking input most of the time. See, we have a config.properties. First of all, we are reading that, and then that config.property gives us all the configuration related things. Currently, we are keeping most of the things are as hard coded, but later on we'll make everything in the config.properties file. Then if you see here below, we have one utility which is reading data from an Excel sheet to do the data driven part. So it's also like input. So all the section which is mentioned in green, that is input part of your framework. Similarly, the right part, all the things which are in green, these are output which we are getting. What output we are getting? We are getting interactive reports of out of this framework. We are getting logs. We are getting screenshots of various scenarios. Or if you want to keep any proof anywhere, you can take the screenshot. Then the mid section is the logic part, logic layer, where your actual logic is being written, where we have separated out things in multiple layers. First layer, which we started also yesterday, that is the automation layer, and the automation tool we are using here is Selenium, and the code is written in such a way that going forward, if you don't like Selenium, you can just take it out and plug insert. And then there were many other reasons for doing the same, like one of the reason is, let's say if something changes in the implementation part in Selenium itself, then you don't have to go each and every location and change. Only one location you change would be required. Okay, so today first task what we'll do is we'll complete this particular layer. Okay, after completing this layer, we'll start with learning design patterns, and if time permits, then we'll start with the application layer as well. At each level, there will be certain utilities. Utilities are nothing but certain extra methods which helps you in achieving things quickly, and those methods will be used very frequently in your project. That's why we are keeping them separated out as utilities, and anyone can use them. Okay, utilities are written at application level, at automation level, at test case level. So all the three will have its own utilities. Okay, now there are few interview questions which comes up. uh, so I'll just talk about them, and with time I'll give answer to them as well. So one of the question, after looking at your framework, an interview can ask is why you have kept your automation layer as separate. So your answer should be crisp and clear. Answer should be that we have kept all the Selenium related methods separated out so that if something changes somewhere in the implementation of Selenium, I don't have to go anywhere and change it. This is one reason. Second reason you can say is that once this is available, there were some efforts put into creating these methods, but the benefit what we are getting is that, let's say if I have to start any other project, automation of any other project going forward, then I don't have to uh, create this framework from the scratch. Only thing which will change will be these two layers. One is this application layer and second one is this framework layer. All other things, yeah, this test utilities might change or app utilities might change. Otherwise, rest of the thing will remain as it is. Creating reports will remain same. Getting logs will remain same. Taking screenshot will remain same. Utilities written at Selenium level will remain same. Selenium methods will remain same. The way you do data driven testing remains same. The values of config.property will change, but the way you read it will remain same. Then how you trigger test cases, either manual or Jenkins. So script might change in Jenkins, but this portion will again remain same. So the only thing which will change is these two layers. So this is the benefit we get keeping all our Selenium methods separated out. Clear? Any questions, any doubt here? Anyone? Okay. Then second question which interview might ask you is the directory structure. Okay, directory structure of your project. So the bare minimum directory structure I discussed yesterday, the bare minimum which you need, I'll quickly show you. So here, this is the directory structure where you have this folder common libs where you have all the Selenium separated out methods. This is for your application. All the methods of your applications are here. Then design patterns won't be there because this is just for your learning. Test won't be there because this is we are just verifying that all the test case, all the files which we are creating is fine or not. And then you'll have a folder with name utils. Okay, there is one more which I left, that is test cases. So I'll just create one more package and it will be com.test.mercury travel. Yeah, you can give any name, any relevant name, whatever name your organization follow in your projects. You can use the same name. I just putting it com.test.mercurytravel. So that means all the test related things will be keeping here. So all application related things, that is this layer. If we talk about layer, this layer, application layer will come in the Mercury travel package, whereas the test cases layer will come in test.mercurytravel. Okay, so this is how mapping is. And then we have a config folder for this config.properties. We have input folder for this input files. Then we have output folder to get these reports. Then we have a logs folder to get this logs. And then we have screenshot folder to get the screenshots. And then we have test cases XML for this layer, that is test suite layer. Okay, all these utilities are written here. Okay, so try mapping this directory structure with the framework you have designed here. In your interview, if somebody asks you what is the directory structure, and if you have explained this, just try mapping them. Okay, just tell them what layer is covered where. Okay, now I guess everyone knows which layer is covering which section of the code, right? So if you have any doubt in it, do let me know because it's very important. Okay. So if you get any doubt, any queries, do let me know. I'll help you in it. But just remember the mapping, and this will also help you to understand the code properly. Okay. So that's all in the mappings. Now let's start with where we left yesterday. So yesterday we completed some of the classes. Let me quickly go to them. Uh, in the Yeah, so we created some of the contracts, and in the implementation we did only 4 classes. So let's cover all the remaining ones. Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, so let's start with one by one. Okay, so first one we have is driver is done for us, alert handling is done for us, then we have is checkbox. So for checkbox I can think of only one method, that is like toggling a checkbox. Okay, I'll try to give you an example for it. See, I'm writing the method. The method which I've written is, checkbox change checkbox status, where I'm passing the element which I'll be considering as a as a checkbox, and second, I'm passing a boolean status. Okay, what does this boolean status means? You'll be passing this value as true or false. What does true means? True means that you want it to be checked. And when you pass false, false means that you want it to be unchecked. Now, if you'll not verify the status before clicking on it, what will happen is, say for example, you have a checkbox. I'll open any page which might have any checkbox. Uh, where can I go? I don't remember any. Okay, let me open LinkedIn here. Do we have a checkbox here? No. Does anyone remember any site where we have a checkbox? Uh, Otherwise, I'll create one. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me create one demo we have. Uh, Rupesh, you're saying Facebook have. Okay, let me see. Uh, Facebook. Facebook don't have. It's radio buttons. I'm looking for checkbox. What else? Demo. Which one you're saying? Selenium Easy. Someone is saying Selenium Easy. Let me check that. Otherwise, I'll create mine. Okay, I'll create a page then. So here it will be seleniumhq.org. Okay, Selenium Easy you're saying, right? But Selenium Easy is a tutorial site. Demo site you're saying. Okay, what
I've shared the
form?
link. You can take the link. Start practicing.
Okay, fine. So let me.
Not this one.
Yeah,
Other link.
start practicing. Okay, I'll just copy the link you just shared. Okay, yeah. Okay, so here we have a checkbox, right? But they are not getting clicked. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so they might be having a defect in Google Chrome. Okay, not the Chrome, that Edge. Okay, so here you can see that we have these many checkbox, option 1, option 2, option 3, and this. Okay, say for example, these two checkbox are already checked and these two are unchecked. And when I came here, I want first to be checked, second to be unchecked, third to be checked, and fourth to be unchecked. Let's say I want this. I'll quickly write this. So what I want is, I want first to be checked, second to be unchecked, third to be again checked, and fourth to be unchecked. Let's say I want this. Okay, this is what I want. And here we have first two already checked and last two unchecked. So now when I'll come here on this page, what will I do? Okay, how will I handle this situation that I want first one to be checked, second one to be unchecked, third to be checked, and fourth to be unchecked? Because what we know is we can just go and click on it. So it's like a toggle. If you click on it, it will first time it will get checked, second time it will get unchecked, right? This is how it works. That means I can not go and directly say click on the checkbox. That I cannot do. So for that, what I'll do, I'll first get the status. First, I'll check what is the status of this checkbox. whether it's checked or unchecked. Okay, and then I'll see what I want, and based on that I'll take a decision. Okay, so as you can see on this page, the first option is checked, and I also want it to be checked. So the code which I'm writing, in that I'll pass this status as true. Okay, when I pass the status as true, that means I want it to be checked. When I'll pass the status as false, that means I want unchecked, and the decision or the logic will depend on what status it already have. Okay, so let's implement that status, and then probably you will understand it better. But is the problem statement clear to all? What I did? Okay. Any questions in the problem statement, anyone? Okay, so I just created one. I just this is my class checkbox control. After that, it says implements I checkbox. Okay, here I'll simply say add an implemented method. So this will add this method in it, and the method which we have to implement is this. Now, uh, how will you fix it? I mean, how will you do this? So here I mean, here it depends on two things. I mean, the status, what you need, the status of a checkbox, that depends on two things. One, what you want, and second, what exactly is the status. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. I'll say if, okay, see, if the status is true, that means you want it to be checked, and checkbox is also checked. Do you want to click on it? Answer is simple, no. If it's already checked and also you want it to be checked, that means you don't want to click on it. One thing. Second thing, your status is false, that means you want it to be unchecked, and it is also unchecked, the fourth status, then also you don't have to click. That means you have to click only on two things. What are they? That if the element is selected and your status is false. Okay, so to make the status as I mean, if you'll pass false, to make it true, I have to put a negation. So what I'm saying is, element is selected and your status is false, then you want to click on that element, right? Else if your element is not selected, I'll put a not. If your element is not selected and you want your status to be true, then you will click on the element, right? Can I club these two statements? Oh yes, I can. So let me quickly club them. So I'm saying either this or this. Either this or this, then click on element, otherwise don't click. Done. Now it will be based on the status you will pass, and whatever current status it has, it will take a decision to check or uncheck it. Okay. Any questions, any doubt, anyone wants to repeat it, do let me know.
Saurabh, can you repeat the if condition?
Yes. See, it depends on two things, right? One is what actual status your checkbox has, and second, what status you are passing. Okay. And the mapping is like this. If you want checked, that means you will pass true as status. If you want unchecked, then you will pass false as the status. Clear? Now, How does an if condition works? If condition works when the condition inside it is true, right? How to make these condition, any one of the two condition true? Okay, see, uh, when you'll click on a checkbox, you will click when when your status and the status of the checkbox is different. Okay, so the first case is I want checked. The first checkbox is already checked. Do I have to click on it? Simple answer is no. So for first thing, I don't want to click on it. Then for the fourth option is unchecked, and here also I want unchecked. Do I have to click? Simple answer is no, I don't have to click. Then that means I will click in these two cases where the status is opposite. Here for second checkbox, it's checked, but I want it to be unchecked. Similarly, the third is unchecked and I want it to be checked. Clear? Till now, any doubt? Okay. Now look at the if condition we have applied. So if you'll check the if condition, where is my code? Okay. So here the if condition I have applied is, let's first see the first one, this one. When your status is unchecked and uh, sorry, third one. When your status is checked and you want it to be, you want it to be checked and checkbox is also checked. Okay, so how will it work? Just give me a second. I'm sorry. Yeah, here. So when I'm saying element is selected, if your element is selected, that means it returns true. And you want it to be false. If you're passing false, false with a negation sign will become true. That means this condition will get true. That means it will go and click on it. When will it click? When your checkbox was checked and you want it to be unchecked. Clear?
So what is the default value of the status? It is true then?
The status we will pass. This is a
Okay.
generic method. When we'll call this method, that time we will give the status whether you want it to be true or false. So that's up to you. So let's say I'm passing false and the element was checked. I want it to be unchecked. Then what it will do, it will just go and click on that element. So the case is this one. So it will go and click on it. That means it will get unchecked. Okay. And the other is where your element is unchecked and you want it to be checked. When element is unchecked, this will return false. False with a negative sign will become true. So this will become true. This is already true. True and true will become true. So element will click on it. Any doubt? Any questions here? Okay, so I hope it's clear to all. Try it again. If you face any issue, do let me know. Okay, so we're done with another class, that is checkbox control. Let's see what else we have. Common elements we have done. Let's talk about dropdowns. So for dropdowns, I'll just take out all the methods we can have. Okay, so these are the methods which we can have. I am not putting deselect methods because generally we don't use it much. I have not used them so frequently. Rather, I have not used it at all. So I'm not using I'm not putting deselect methods, but all others I have put which are required frequently. So in a dropdown, what all you need? You need select by a visible text, select by a value, select by index. Then is multiple. Is multiple is to see whether your dropdown allows multiple selection or not. Then you have get all options, get all selected options, and then get first selected option. So these are 7 methods. Let's implement them. Okay, so in implementation, I'll say right click, new class, drop down control. Okay, and we'll say implements I drop down. Okay, when you hover over it, just okay. Right click, refactor, rename. Okay, so just give me a second. Okay, so we have to implement all these methods. They are, first is select via visible method, visible text, and so on. So let's quickly see how you can do this. So let me do one first. So it will be, first of all, you'll create an instance of select class, right? So it will be select. You have to take one from selenium.org. Let's say I'll call it dropdown equal to new select, and then you'll pass the argument, that is this, and then we'll say drop down dot select via visible text, and visible text is this. Okay, so this is how you'll do. Now in each method we'll be creating an instance of select and then doing this. That means there is some code which is repeating everywhere. So let's do one thing. Let's create a private method. I'll create a private method, private void get dropdown. Okay, and instead of void, the return type will become select. Okay, here I'll just cut, paste, and here we'll say return dropdown. Okay, and here we'll say get dropdown. Okay, get dropdown, and here you will pass element. Okay, so you can see the code which was repeating multiple times. I just took it out, moved it into a private method. So what we are doing, we are reusing the code, right? Reusability has improved here. So this will remain like this. I'll just come here. What you want here, you want is select via value. So you will say select by value. Which value? One. Similarly, next I'll come here, select via index. So I'll say select via index, and index you'll pass here. Then next is multiple. This is to verify whether your dropdown allows multiple selection or not. So here we'll say is multiple. Okay. So Nishta, you have a question, is select a return type. Here I have made it like that. So your method can return any type. It can return data type, or any object, any instance of a class. Okay. So like here I said that this get dropdown method should return a select value. So select is, I mean, this dropdown is a type of select. That's why I said return dropdown. Okay. So trying to reuse uh, and I mean trying to reduce the repeatability here. Okay, otherwise everywhere same thing you would have written. So here I'll also say get all options, get options. Similarly, here I'll say get all selected options. So you can see now I don't have to create select instance of select class again. Just one liner I'm putting and getting the result, and I'm done with dropdown also. Okay, so any questions till now? Is it clear how we are doing this drop-down control? Okay, so just focus on, I mean, focus more on how I'm writing the code. See, repeatability, reducing it by creating private methods. Okay, separated out all the methods so that if something is changed in drop-down control, I don't have to go as in a single file and check everywhere where is drop-down. If I know something has changed in drop-down control, I'll just directly search this class, go there and change it, right? Okay. What else? So any questions here in the drop down? Okay, so after drop downs we have frame handling. So recall all the methods we did in frames. So if I can think these methods. Switching to a frame with a frame ID, switching to a frame with a web element. Like if you don't have an ID, then you have to consider your framework frame as a frame as a uh, web element, and then you switch, and then a frame switch to frame with an index, and switch to default content. When you have to come out of a frame, then you do this. Okay, so for this I'll create a class and let's implement it. Right click, new class, frame control, iframe controls, or let's say frame controls. Okay, in this again I'll say it implements iframe handling. Somebody is unmuted. Who's Guys, can you all go on mute, please? Okay, I made everyone muted. Okay, so please unmute when you have any questions to ask. Fine. So we were discussing about frame controls. So in frame controls, we'll have frame handling. So the name of the class I'm putting as frame controls implements iframe handling. So here, if I hover over here and add an implemented method, so these are the methods which will come. Let's talk about them one by one. So the first one is switch to frame. Okay, so I'll write the one and then we'll move out the common part in one private method. Okay, so first thing, when you are uh, switching a frame, you need instance of your browser, because you will say driver.switch to whatever frame you have. That means you need an instance of the browser. So just like we did yesterday in alerts, here also we have to do the same thing. So here I'll create one constructor, and we'll make this constructor parameterized by passing that driver instance. So I'll say WebDriver driver, and here it will create one private variable. So we'll say private WebDriver driver. Okay, and then in this you have to switch to a frame, right? Sorry, this will be like this dot driver equal to driver. So just like we did yesterday in the alert handling, here also we are doing the same. We are taking the driver instance from outside and using that. We are not creating one inside. Why we don't want to create that? Because if you'll create any frame, any driver instance inside, that will be a new driver instance. But we don't want a new one. We want to work on the same one, right? And then here you have to switch to a frame. So it will be like driver dot switch to dot frame. So we have three options. Which are they? Switch to using web element, and then frame ID and so on. So here I'll say frame ID. Okay. Similarly, I can just put here element. Next will be index. So I'll just pass index here, and then is last one is default content. So we'll say switch to default content, and all the methods in this are done. Okay, so once I save the file, all the errors are gone, and this is how you will do the frame handling. Any questions in frame handling, anyone? Okay, fine. Moving on with the next one. Next one, what else is left? So frame handling is done for us. Window handling. So we have window handling. Let's complete that. So I'll create a class. Yes, Krish, you have any question? Krish, your voice is not clear. Can you write your question because of network issue, I guess? Could you please write your question here?
Yes, yes, Saurabh, I have a one question. Can you tell me the
Sorry, Krish, you are not audible at all. I'm sorry. Could you please write your question if possible? There will be a chat section you can write there. Guys, there is some background noise coming from somewhere. You on mute. Some music is running in the back. Some music. Who is this? Now it's fine. Grish, you were asking something. Can you please write your question? Guys, please can you all go on mute? Okay, now it's fine. So Girish, can you ask your question in chat box, please? Okay, let's proceed if by the time he types the question. Okay, so here we have created a class window handling. Okay, so for window handling, what all methods we need? Let's first put them uh, in the interface. So here we have the interface. I'll put in here and see what all we need. First one is switch to child window. Okay, if you recall when we studied about different things we can achieve using the window handle, one was switching to a child window, then switching to any window. Uh, uh, Switching to any window means that you can switch to, let's say, first window, second window, just by passing its window handle. Then we have getting a window, and then we have is window handles. Okay, so Girish, you have a question. Please tell me what is the use of frame control here. Okay, actually, this is uh, topic which I have already covered in the batch. So probably here people won't be interested in going through that again. Let's do one thing. Once the session is over, you can I'll separately teach you this topic, and I will also share the recording which has the complete frames. Okay, just after the this today's class will end, I'll explain you the complete frame handling part. Okay, Girish? Yeah. Okay. So these are certain methods which we need for window handling. So I'll just implements them. So here I'll say implements I window handling, and when we hover over it, we'll say add implemented methods. Now here you need to implement them. So again, just like frame handling and alert handling, here also you need instance of your browser. So I'll create a private variable for that. So it will be private um WebDriver, and then driver. Okay, and then I'll create a constructor window handling. In the constructor, we'll make it parameterized. So it will be WebDriver driver. Okay, and it will be this dot driver equal to driver. Okay, so we made our constructor as parameterized base, because of which we can now access the browser instance. Now you have to switch to a child. So how we switched, recall, so it will be like driver dot, if you recall the logic of switching to a child window, it's exactly same. So what we'll do, we will first get all windows, recall that, right? Then we'll convert that into an array. Once you convert that into an array, we can access its first element, because this get window handles returns us a set of window handles, and then we'll convert that into an array, access its first element, and then we'll convert that into string. This gives me what? My child window. So all the logic we have already seen, I'm just implementing them again. Okay. So if you have any doubt in these topics, just go back in the recording and see what we did. Okay. So here it will be driver dot switch to dot window, which window? Child window, and done. So this way you can switch to the first child window. Okay. When you have to switch to any window using the window handle, that means you already have the window handle. So you can simply say driver dot switch to dot window, and what argument you will pass? Window handle, right? Next one is to get window handle. I will just copy paste this. This is to get the window handle, so you can simply call this. And then to get all the window handles, this is the method. So we are done with this. Okay, so if anyone does not remember this window handle thing, so just go through the recordings and then come. So that's why I mentioned when before starting the frameworks, that we'll be having a recap of complete Selenium what we have studied. Okay, so just recall, just revise whatever we covered, and as a generic method we have implemented them. And one more benefit you'll get out of this framework is, once you have to prepare for your interviews, you don't have to go anywhere and see all the code. Everything will be available in one location. Okay, Rishabh, I have a question. Is if there is 5 windows opened and we want to switch to third window, how can we do that? It's a good question, because I remember this was asked to me in one of the interview. So let's do one thing. Let's add one more method here. I will create one more method here. We'll name it switch to any window, and instead of this, I'll make it int uh, window number, or maybe int child window index. Let's say this. So the question which Rishabh has asked is that, let's say I want to switch to third window if 5 windows are open. What you'll do? So for us, it does not matter how many windows are open, maybe 10, 20, 30. It should be more than or equal to the index to which you want to switch. I've added this. Now here I'll come and will add another method. Okay, and it will be string int. What is the name of the method? Name of the variable. I'll just copy that. Okay, and the logic will be like this. See, when I wanted to switch to first child, I pass the index as 1. When I want to switch to third child, I'll pass the index as 3. So here I'll write the generic logic and your code is done. So what we have done here is, On my browser, first of all, I'm getting all the window handles. As Rishabh said, there are 5 windows open. That means I'll get uh, a set of 5 values, each value representing the window handle or that session ID of uh, each window. We convert it into an array. Then in the index, we are accessing its elements. So when you convert it into an array, those 5 values will go into an array with index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Okay, now whatever index you will pass here, say for example, you're passing 3. So here it will come 3. So we will switch to a window with third index. Okay, and convert it into string. This will give you the child window and then you can switch. Okay, did it answer your question, Rishabh? Yes. So this is how you will switch to init window. And this was something actually asked to me also in one of the interview. So yeah, it's an important question. Okay, any questions now? Any other questions? See, in interviews, there is a one must ask question from window handle. There is one must ask question from frame handle, from alert handling, and from weights. These 5 topics you cannot skip at all. Interview will ask you questions from these topics. Okay, so let's see what else is left. If I check my interfaces, so window handling is done, text box is done, mouse operations. So let's quickly complete mouse operations. So I'll name it as mouse controls. Click on finish, and it says it implements I mouse control mouse operations. Okay, so that interface does not have any. Okay, so for mouse operations, I can think of these methods. What are these methods? One is drag and drop. Second one is move to element. Right click, double click, move to an element and click. So these are certain methods I can think of in mouse operation. If you can think of any other, you can add. As soon as I save it, what happened? Yeah, so this giving me error, so I'll add unimplemented methods. Okay, now for mouse operation, do we need driver instance? Yes, when you will be initializing your actions class. So recall, in mouse operation we need actions class, right? So when you are initializing actions class, that time you need to tell where to perform mouse operation. So we need browser instance here. So let's quickly define it. So it will be private WebDriver. What I did, driver, and then I'll create a constructor. So it will be mouse controls, and here it will be this dot driver equal to driver. Okay, and it will be driver. Okay, so let's start with first method, that is drag and drop. So first of all, we need to create an instance of actions class. So just recall, for mouse operation you need instance of actions class, right? I'll name it action equal to new actions, and then you need to tell where you are performing this operation. So on my browser instance. Now this thing will repeat everywhere, right? So I'll just take it out, create one private method. I'll say private, return type will be actions, uh, get actions, and we'll copy paste and we'll say return action, right? So what we did, we created a method called get action. What it is returning an instance of actions class. just initialize that, return that. Now when you have to perform drag and drop, you will simply say get action dot drag and drop from element 1 to element 2. If you remember properly, we always do build dot perform. So what does this build do? This build will create this command, and what does this perform do? This perform will actually execute this command. Okay, now everywhere wherever you have to do, you'll just go this, put this, and move to element, target as element, and then build dot perform. Similarly, when you have to do right click, so what is the method used for right click? Anyone? uh, Priyanka, you have a question. The driver class shouldn't be private. Driver, web driver instance, you're saying? It's private only. It's already private. Okay. So here when we have to do a right click, so the answer is context click. So again it will be where you have to do the context click. So it will be on element dot build dot perform. Okay. Then next we have is double click. So it will be, the method name is double click only. We'll pass element dot build dot perform. Similarly, last one is move to element and click. So it will be like, I can copy this one. So here it will be move to element, then click on the element, and then build dot perform, and we are done. So all the methods and mouse controls also done. Any questions here? So I'm just writing all those methods we learned uh, in last couple of months. All of them we are just writing here. Okay. So Rishabh, you have a question. How do we get the tooltip? Tooltip you will get once you mouse over it. Then after that, I'm not sure. I have not done this. Give me some time. I'll get on it. Get back on it. Let me put it in your. Uh, okay, I don't have your par. Okay, I'll for sure remember it. Tooltip. I need to look how we can get. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So mouse operations are also done. Tooltip, I'll get back on it. How to get the tooltips and what else? JavaScript Executor. One of the interfaces ref, that is JavaScript Executor. Okay. So for this, I can think of these three methods. Let me quickly add them. One is executing any JavaScript. Okay. Then executing JavaScript and getting the return value. And then scroll down operation also. Okay. So Girish, you have a question. Could you please tell me the scenario for inner frame? I mean, how to handle frame inside frame. Sorry, network problem. Okay. So again, it's related to frames. Let's discuss along with the frames part only. Is it fine? Okay. And Shubhanshu, you have a question. Through get attribute method with parameter title. I didn't get you. What does it means? And what is exactly the question? Oh, you answered. Okay. Okay. Okay, got it. Rishabh, to answer your question, for a tooltip, what Shubhranshu is saying is that there is a method called getAttribute. Remember, in getAttribute, there is a attribute known as title. Yes, you are right, Shubhanshu. All the tooltips are with title as the attribute, and you just have to do getAttribute method. That will give you the title from that HTML code. Got your answer, Rishabh? Okay, if I can show somewhere if we have any tooltip. Mm, does anyone know any tooltip example? I remember from my website where I'm working on. Okay, anyways, Rishabh, you can try this. For the tooltip, the tooltip are generally stored in one of the attribute known as title. How to get the value? By using the getAttribute method, and the argument which will pass will be title. Okay, so I'll proceed here now. Let's start with creating JavaScript Executor. I need to create a class. So it will be right click, new class, and it will be JavaScript Executor. It will be implements I JavaScript. Okay, and when we hover over it, it will. Okay, so the first one is the first method is execute JavaScript. Okay, so to execute JavaScript, how will you do that? First of all, create an instance of, again, you need a browser instance here. So let me first create the constructor. So it will be private WebDriver driver, and then it will be JavaScript executor, and in the argument it will be WebDriver driver, and here it will be this dot driver equal to driver. Okay, now execute JavaScripts. So for that, first of all, there is a interface known as JavaScript Executor. Okay, now let's say I'm creating its instance as JS Engine equal to whatever driver instance you have, you will assign that value, but as this is an instance of WebDriver, you need to typecast it. Okay, so typecasting we learned in detail. Okay, if you have any questions, do let me know. I'll explain it again. So JS engine dot execute JavaScript script to execute, and done. Okay, so is it clear to all why we done this typecasting? Anyone has any questions in typecasting? So we discussed it in detail, why we need typecasting. Okay, so silence means no. Let's proceed. So this is to execute the JavaScript. Next is Okay, one more thing, this part will repeat again and again. So let me put it in a private variable. So I'll say private return type, I'll put JavaScript Executor. Okay, and then get JS engine, and here we'll simply say return okay. So I'll just copy it from here and we'll say just a second. Return JS engine. Okay, what? Yeah, so it's done. JavaScript Executor, JS engine we returned, and then this method dot execute JavaScript. Execute script is the method, and script to execute is the one. Okay, so what I did is I just took out that JavaScript executor command here from here, because the same thing we are going to use again and again. Okay, next is we need to do the scroll down. Okay, so in the scroll down, what will change here? Instead of script to execute will be, I'll create a string variable for that, equal to string dot format. And what is the format, if anyone recalls? Yes, Rishabh, we were discussing about tooltips, so just give me some time. Let me complete this and then I'll explain you tooltip again. Okay, coming back to the console, here it will be window dot scroll by, and here when you say 0 comma 100, so what does this do? Let's say I'm at the top, and when I press this at the end, press this. Okay, I need to go to some Flipkart, let's say. Okay, so here when I press enter, you can see my scroll bar has come down. If same thing I put some value, let's say 1000, and press enter, you can see I have come a lot down. If I change it to 10,000, you can see I'm at almost at the end. So that means this is the method to scroll, right? So the same method will pass here. We need to replace these uh, with the integer argument. So I'll just change it to %d, change this to %d, and the arguments will be x comma y. So this will become my command, right? So what I'm doing using string.format, I'm just replacing my x and y with this %d, and that's done. So this is how you will do scroll down. And then the next we have is executing JavaScript with return value. So everything will remain same. The only thing is that method will return something. Okay, and just one more thing, before you return, you need to add this string typecasting also, because whatever you'll get, that will be in object format. Okay, so you need to convert your object to string because here the return type was string. Okay, so why I did this, because this method either will not return anything, or if it returns, then it returns something in object. So if you see its return type, the return type is object, and object is a data type which can store object is a class which can store any data type. It can store string, it can store integer, it can store anything. So what I did, I just typecast it with string. So now whatever object value you're getting, it will convert it into string, and that is what we are returning here. So this is so we are done with JavaScript also, and all the interfaces and respective classes are done. So in a way, most of the things from where is our PPT? Yeah, so for most of the things from this automation layer is done. Rest, whatever you think that it should be there according to your project, keep on adding. But whatever I have added, they are the bare minimum. You cannot live without them. These are frequently used methods. Okay, in a way, we revise the complete Selenium here in 2 days. Clear? Any questions now in any of the class? So one thing I have to explain is to Girish, that is frame handling. Other than that, anything, any other topic you want a repetition? Okay, Poonam, you have a question. Saurabh, sometimes we have to test that Google Analytics code script is applied or not in a website, so that we can check that. Should include in JavaScript interface. If you feel that is something which is required in your project, go ahead and add it. Okay, if you think that can be done through, because I'm not sure how Google Analytics code is verified. So if you think that is something you can do through JavaScript, go ahead and add it. No, I mean, yes, you can add. Okay, and Rishabh, you have question, logging is completed? No, logging we haven't started. We're going one by one. Currently, I've just completed one layer, that is this automation layer. Now I'll be starting with design patterns. Then we'll complete the automation layer. We'll complete this. Uh, Before jumping on to this design patterns, I'll go to this utilities and complete few of the utilities. Once all these things will be done, then I'll introduce logs. Okay, so what's the time? It's 11:45. Let's have a break for some time, and then we'll continue with the remaining topics. Before that, I go to break, any questions? Anyone? Rishabh, you have a question. I am not sure what it is. How to verify download functionality without browser interaction? Didn't get your question. I mean, what do you want to verify? Not done with JavaScript. I have not covered it with JavaScript. I have covered it with uh, Auto IT. Okay. So not sure, Rishabh, I've not covered this part. Maybe we can look into it if it is required by you. Okay, so let's have a break for 10 minutes and then we'll continue with frameworks. Okay, so we can continue now. Any questions before I continue? Anyone? Okay, so let's start with the wait utility. Okay. Um, Design buttons will start in the next class only. Let me complete one of the wait utilities. So in utilities, you can have utility at multiple levels, like you can have at project level, test level, and then at Selenium level. Okay, so I'll create one package inside it and I'll call it common utils. Common utils will be the one which will be keeping in uh, which will be for Selenium. I mean this automation layer. So here if you see we have this automation layer. So in this particular layer, whatever utilities are being used, we'll keep them in common utils. And in this I'll create one class and I'll name it wait utility. So let's cover wait utility here. Okay. So what are the different weights we are going to use? One of the weight I'll be using while my development will be uh, wait till wait for seconds. I'll name it this. Okay, and again we'll simply say throws exception. And here which weight we are going to use, this one will be generally using for development purpose. Generally when we'll be actually executing our automation suite, will remove all these weights. So this is simple thread.sleep, nothing much. This is to just hold your code for some time. Okay, so whatever time you will pass in the argument, maybe int seconds. So that is what we'll be using here, seconds into 1000, because it takes the value in milliseconds. Okay, so whatever time you will pass, it will just hold to your code for that much time. This is the first. Second, let me change it, the name of it. I'll call it time out in seconds. Okay. Next will be public void. I'll do one wait as wait till element visible. Okay, we'll be taking web element here. So it will be web element. For this element I have to wait. Then for how much time? I also need browser instance here, so I'll also pass WebDriver. Okay, and then for how much time you have to wait. So I'll just pass this int here. Okay, so these three arguments I need. What is this for? This is, as the name suggests, wait till element visible. Wait till an element become visible. Okay, so here first of all you need to create an instance of WebDriver wait. So I'll say WebDriver wait. I'll call it wait equal to new WebDriver wait. Driver is the instance, timeout 10 seconds is the one, and then condition will be wait dot until what? A condition from expected conditions dot, what is the one we are looking for? Element uh, visibility of element. Yeah, this one. So this is my one of my explicit wait. What this says, wait till element become visible. Wait for this much time, whatever you're passing as an argument, for this element to be visible on this browser. This is simple, right? So again, this code will repeat. So I'll just move it in one private method. So I'll say private uh, get wait. Um, get wait driver. Okay, and we need to pass these two arguments. Not this. One is this we need to pass, and second is this one we need to pass. Okay, and we'll copy this command from here to here, and we'll say return. The return type will be this. Okay, and we'll say get driver driver comma timeout in seconds. Yes, so I just took out that method and moved it into one private method because this is I'm going to repeat a lot, because after this I'll create one more method. Let's say public void next method name I'll put as wait till alert is present. Okay, now again I'll say get wait driver uh, driver and timeout in seconds until what happened. Why it is giving me an error. Okay, we have not passed that as an argument. Okay, so here in this we don't even need this element because we are waiting for an alert. So here the condition will be expected condition dot alert is present. That's all. Okay, so look at uh, how quick now code writing is. After I just took out one of the repetitive task and made a private method out of it. So the method was get wait driver. I mean, I just had to create this instance again and again. Now I just don't have to do anything. I'll just call this method get wait driver, pass these two arguments, whatever I'm taking, and then apply the condition. So only condition application is left, right? I'll copy it, put it again. I think of one more method. Let's say wait till element become clickable. Okay, so this is my method name. Wait till element become clickable. And I also need which element I want to be clickable. I'll copy it. Okay, and what changes? Only thing changes is this condition. Uh, we'll see what condition can be used. So element to be clickable is the condition. Okay, which element? This element. Like this, you can add as many wait condition as you think of. Okay, you can add, like I added wait till element visible, wait till alert is present, wait till element to be clickable. Like this, see here what all conditions you have. You can add as many condition as you want. All of them add here so that all the wait utilities can be kept at one location. Okay, and this is again one of a very good interview question. Interviewer ask you this question, that what are the different wait utilities you have implemented in your project. So you can just remember 4 or 5 which are frequently used and tell their name. Rest you can say we have in the expected condition there is hundreds of condition. You can just uh, you can just apply any one of them. Okay, so you can see that there is a long list of methods: element to be clickable, element to be selectable, element to be available, presence of element, text contains, title contains, and so on. Visibility of element, visibility of nested elements, URL to be, and so on. So there is a long list of conditions available in explicit wait. Okay, so any questions here? So whatever in your project you feel is coming quickly or you have to apply again and again, just put them here, put them in your wait utility. Okay, so for now I'm done with the wait utility. I've added four waits. One is wait for seconds, second one is wait till element visible, third is wait till alert is present, and fourth is wait till element become clickable. Like this, whatever you feel is the frequently used one, add them. When you go for interview, remember at least four or five. If someone asks you what are the different wait utilities you have applied in your project, your answer should be I have utilities like wait till alert is present, wait till element become clickable, wait till element become selectable, wait till element become wait till alert is present, wait till number of elements in a list is this. Just say whatever you can think of is a condition available in expected conditions. Okay, so that's all in wait utility. Any questions now? Okay, so we still have 20 minutes with us. What do you think? Should we stop here or you want to continue? I mean, if you have some discussions to be done, I'm fine stopping here. If all are fine with continuing, I can continue. Okay. There is one more wait which is available, that is fluent wait. I just missed that. Let me tell you, though it is something which does not gives us something extra, but yeah, let's see it. Fluent wait. Uh, I guess I need to look at the syntax. Okay, probably fluent also will see tomorrow. I mean, in the next class. Fluent will see in the next class for sure. And yeah, Rishabh, you were asking about the tooltip. Uh, Tooltip is how you can get in case of tooltip, every element, every HTML tag has a title known as has a attribute known as title. The value of that title is the tooltip. So just hover over that title, that hover over the element from where you want to get the tooltip. When you hover it, this attribute will come with the name title, and then you can use one method called get attribute to get the title. I mean to get the attribute called title. Okay, try this. It will work. Okay, any other questions? So can we end the class here or you want to continue? I guess it's enough for today. Let's complete these two things and with a fresh mind we'll start with the design patterns. Yeah, Rishabh, code will be uploaded on G Drive. Let me ping you the path. Um, just give me a second. Okay, so let me end the session here.